Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner, Brian Johnson. And kind of a, well, we finished flat again today. I mean, just look at the chart here. We didn't go anywhere. Again, we got the gap down on the preliminary job numbers, and then it just kind of rolled sideways the rest of the time. So, not much to speak of here. Once again, coiling up for another move. See this back here? Sideways, sideways, sideways. This one pulled back ever so slightly, and then we, pow, got the break to the upside. Now we're into this consolidation again, and it's anybody's guess where we go. It's a little ugly at this point now from an Elliott wave standpoint. This looked really nice as a 1, 2, 3, pull back for a 4, up to a 5, maybe 5 was a little bit more up here. This long consolidation just really convolutes things over here. Um, Makes it very ugly to count from an EW standpoint. So we'll still continue to wait for the levels, and none of the levels changed, guys. We're still waiting for breaks really above this 10,700 or breaks below 10,550. Ultimately 10,500 if you really want to know. The more conservative entry is way back below here, but uh, numbers tomorrow, I suppose, will make a difference. We'll see a gap up or a gap down, and that's unfortunate because, at this point, to take a trade before the end of the day is gambling. You've got a group of people betting that the numbers will be fine and will gap up. You got a group of people betting that the numbers will be bad based on today, and then the stock market will gap down. And for the rest of us that are conservative and are just going to wait and play it out and see what happens, we kind of get stuck now with these gaps that typically happen. I would be watching closely to see, what kind of a gap we get tomorrow. Do we get a really big gap? Or just a small one way or the other. If the gap isn't much larger than, let's say 5 to 8 points or so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think the market goes anywhere when it opens. I just don't believe that that's any indication of any particular movement. I watched it pretty close the last 2 hours of the day. No real trading to be done. I had a couple opportunities, really, but only for a point or two. If you're a futures trader, it was okay. It gives you a couple points, but man, just really nothing to be done in here, guys. Just continue to sit on your hands. Frustrating, I know. We waited 4 days for this thing to break. It was done on a gap. It gapped up to here, and now we're running sideways again. And now what are we going to get? Another gap, and then another, straight sideways day. Makes for very frustrating trading, but keep in mind, we're not always going to get to trade the indices. And that's why you've got to have individual stocks that you're watching in your back pocket at all times. Once again, think about the newsletter, guys. $15 a month. I do give my subscribers individual stock plays each week, and that gives them opportunities when the markets aren't moving to at least look at some individual stocks to see if those are going someplace. I had a great call midweek on Google, and I share some of my students that are some of my mentoring students, when they send me stuff that I think is a really good setup, I share it with my subscribers as well. So that might be worth your time, might be worth your money. Dow on a daily, look at us basing sideways. This is a high base formation, which makes me, I have to be what? Yes, neutral to bullish right here. I have to be. I don't like, I don't like what necessarily it just isn't strong for some reason. It doesn't feel right up here, but it is what it is. The charts just are what they are, guys. Whatever. Okay, so we're looking for still a push above 10,700. Maybe takes us back up into this 10,900, which I think gives us a great opportunity for a speculative short position up here. Otherwise, like I said, back below this area, if you want to get more aggressive on a day trade, back below 10,600 is not a bad idea to take this thing short. Watch all of these daily moving averages if you're a intraday trader. Really pay attention to what we're seeing down here in the 10.4 to 10.500 area. That will give us and should give us some support down in here. NASDAQ on a 60, still basing right here at or around that 1900-ish area, looking for that push back up and above. To get here, I just think, if it's going to happen, it'll probably happen on a gap. What's the best way to beat resistance? You gap above it. That's right. From a daily standpoint, same thing here. So far, it's just coiling up for another move. Could be down, could be up. We just never know in these situations, especially with big numbers coming out. This market could move anywhere. I mean, the pattern is bullish, but it's anybody's call. I'm not real sold on what we're seeing up in here, but here's your overhead resistance nonetheless, followed by the 1940, 1950-ish area on the NASDAQ above that. On a weekly here, you can also see us holding above this blue area, but oh, and tomorrow is the end of the week, so this is the weekly chart. We'll see where this closes and what that gives us in the bigger picture from a bull slash bear standpoint. Right now we are up a few weeks in a row, and we are starting to break above some of these other levels, but we'll see if that all changes by the end of tomorrow. SPX on a 60-minute also going sideways right here, dancing around that 1125 area I talked about. Just can't seem to find a direction here in the markets. Very, very, like I said, difficult trading, all focused around that 1125-ish area. High basing sitting above this area here. Looking for maybe breaks back down below here before you take a trade to the short side. Otherwise, long ways. I would say, somewhere up in here, watch this blue line. I think that's a great area to be watching for overhead resistance, and that could be as high as 1135, 1140-ish maybe by tomorrow as that candle opens next to this one, giving you a little bit more room to run to the upside. From a weekly, tomorrow's candle also closes. The bears would sure love to get this thing back below that 1120-ish area by the end of the day. Otherwise, the bulls are going to get a close above the 20-week, and then the bears are going to have a little something to do next week if that is the case. VIX on a daily, and you can see here what we got was a move down ever so slightly. This is non-confirmation of what we saw today. VIX down, market down, but close enough. You can see here from a technical aspect, I'm just kind of eyeballing this, and it does look like we could be in some sort of a falling wedge type of formation. If that's the case, maybe there is, opportunities for the bears here. But you're going to want to wait to see if this VIX gets up and above the 24 or 26 area. Then I think we really start to see a little bit more fear roll back into the market. From a weekly standpoint, we will also be closing this candle tomorrow, but as you can see, we're just slowly bleeding our way downwards, which means that the market isn't really all that scared at this moment. So if and when it does, we could see more of these strong candles one way or the other on the VIX. But as it is right now, investors aren't all that scared at this point. We're starting to enter this quote-unquote green area is what I call it, this area down in here. It's the kind of green, then the yellow, then the red area here, if you want to call it, for fear. So we're really kind of back in the green area here, and just not a lot of fear in the markets at this particular time. Apple here moving sideways. I watched this today too for trades. There's nothing going on, just consolidation sideways on Apple. Same thing on a daily, still holding below these levels here, as you can see it just straight across the board. If you guys invested in it back in April, end of April, you haven't gotten anywhere. Still flat trading for Apple. Wait for more major breaks here, and it's really looking at these areas of support and resistance here. Yeah, just nothing to talk about. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks flat. Month and a half of nothing to do in Apple. Occasional day trades here and there, but certainly nothing from an investor standpoint and or a longer term hold. That's for sure. FAS on a 60 here was just this here is just it is what it is, guys. It's a bull pullback at this point, really. Breaks back above this, maybe, I don't know what this is, 2250-ish area. Let me see here. I'd say if we could get back above, yeah, maybe this 2370-ish area. We might be able to, 2375 might be a decent place to take an intraday long on this. I really like the 2450 though, I gotta be honest. Still like above 2450. Let it get above this. Maybe we see a gap up to this line or above this line tomorrow. If the job numbers or if there's any kind of data that leads it that way. Watch for gaps either to this line or just above this line and look for trades accordingly as we enter the trading session. Yes, this could still be some sort of ugly inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out. Only time will tell. FAZ on a 60-minute was then pulling back, and this in fact does not make a bull flag, it makes a bear flag. Go fig. which means you'll have to watch this to the downside. Still like trades down and below about 12, I don't know, 1280, 1275, somewhere down in there for a more conservative short. Back above about that 14-ish area here, if we can get it above the 20-day, yes, it's a buck away. So play it accordingly. There's just so much overhead resistance in this area. Very difficult to play these right now. They're just not the best trades in the world to be watching. However, there is an opportunity here for the market to play this to the upside, and the news tomorrow might just be what they've been waiting for. There you have it, guys. More consolidate. Look at this. This is so boring. And this was on a gap. Remember, this big white candle doesn't really exist. It gapped up, run sideways. We've gone 60, 74, 75 points all week long in the Dow. Something's going to happen. Something's got to break. Watch tomorrow closely, and we'll see if that gives us some direction. And we'll talk to you again when? Yeah, it's always tomorrow night. Bye.